Hi, my name is Brene Royal and I'm the vineyard manager for Monte Rosso. I know we took a little bit of a break from last time, and that's literally because really nothing was happening. We went from bud break to now this, so I think we're about a month and a half later now. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about shoot thinning in Zinfandel and Semillon, and particularly our old Zinfandel and Semillon. These vines are pretty straightforward. They're all spur pruned, so our kind of standard practice is 2 canes per spur. The watch outs on these vines is that they'll have double canes on one bud, so it'll be important to remove those. And then as we're kind of evaluating the yields early on right now, we'll want to prioritize every cluster that has 2 shoots. So if you see a double on there and maybe one only has 1 cluster, kind of like this, or it has a blind cluster and they're doubled up, we're going to want to remove the blind one. So Zinfandel out here, and particularly in these head trained vines, tends to give us 2.5 to 3 tons to the acre. We do have spots that will push 4.5 tons to the acre, but our Zinfandel is a hot commodity and we really want to keep everything that we can now because we can remove it later. And so that's what we're gonna do as far as the spur positions go. Another big thing to do is remove all of these suckers. All of these are things that we just don't plan to keep. In the instance that we plan to leave a renewal position, meaning leave something there that I can prune on the next year, maybe that's bringing it a little bit closer to the crown, getting it a little bit more balanced in the center, we'll leave that. But outside of those, we want to remove everything because they're just sucking resources that we don't want. So here's another really good example. That's a doubled up cane on one bud. This one's got 2. That one's actually in a really good position as well. So we're just going to remove that. The unfortunate thing with these head trained vines too is these canes are going to grow out, and you really want to try and get everything that's going to grow vertically up, but that's not always the case. So we really only have about a month and a half before these canes really take off and grow to 8 to 14 feet. And once that happens, we won't bring implements through here. So we'll reduce the risk of these breaking on themselves by reducing our utilization of tractors and ATVs through here, and it'll all be foot traffic once summer comes. So the instruction that I'll be giving to my team is that it's really important to make a full 360 around the plant. You can miss a lot of stuff and there are suckers everywhere. So it's important that you're seeing everything, you're catching all of the positions, and you're removing the things that you don't want to keep. So as we're working through and removing all the suckers on the trunks and removing doubles on the spur position, there may be spur positions that had 3 buds left, meaning there was a basal bud and the 2 primary buds. We would like to prioritize the lower of the 2 canes because we don't want the positions to continue to get higher and higher. That's how the vine got gnarly in the first place. So even if, the last bud on the end is the strongest, we're still going to remove it because we're still early in the season and these canes and this vine has time to grow. In the instance that the basal bud is a little bit weak or a little bit farther behind, we'll remove it. And in this case, I did because the basal bud was still just kind of popping and going through bud break. So I did remove it on this one, but the general instruction will be to keep the lower of the 3 positions. Likely we'll come back through and do a second pass on here as more suckers push. We want to make sure that we're only keeping the things that we want these vines to utilize nutrients for. They're old, so we don't really have we don't really have the luxury of waiting and sacrificing and pushing this further down on the priority list. We've got about 45 acres of these, and in this year everything is up. I've already shoot thinned some Cabernet Sauvignon because it's just kind of exploded and caught up to the Zinfandel. So as I play with that priority list of blocks, I want to keep these as close to the forefront as we can. So utilizing resources for things that we keep is important in these, and making sure we're prioritizing them. So that is shoot thinning in head trained Zinfandel. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll get over to the Semillon.